everybody. Oh my goodness. Okay. Can I end now? Okay. Okay. So I'm trying to figure out how to go live on multiple platforms at the same time. Um, I'm using this new tool that I've never used before, but I'm not afraid of tools. This is something I always advise um, people who do my consults that hey, don't worry about tools. So I have to take my own advice now. I have no idea how this thing works, and unfortunately, I have to do it live to figure it out. So y'all gonna go with it with me, learn it with me. So we're talking today about um, basically, how to deal with burnout at work. As you can see, it's a Thursday afternoon, and here I am going live. And I thought to myself, what am I going to go live about? So I have two things. I want to go live on one being burnout at work and how you guys deal with that, and what I do as a high performer. How do I manage multiple projects and multiple competing priorities and working as a BA? How do you work on that? That's one thing I want to talk about. And I'm going to give you some tips on what I do. And maybe you can use some of those tips. It's Thursday, so you have one more day tomorrow to start thinking about that. And then you can probably start next week with a whole fresh, brand new way of working. And hopefully that will help you if you're having burnout. And then the next half of this I want to talk about is an example of a project that I worked on. So I'm going to walk you through one of the case studies that we're going to dive into in my insightful workshop coming up the 19th, so not this Sunday, the Sunday after that. So I'll walk you through an example of that kind of case study and how we would approach that when we get into that insightful workshop. So I'll give you a preview of that. So it's Thursday afternoon, a long day. And if you have a job as a BA, you know what I'm talking about. If you're still in the interviewing phase, I think this live is going to be helpful for you too, to get a sense of the real world of work. And then you can probably use some of these examples to help you answer some of your questions, right? When you have questions on how you handle stresses at work. So I'll give you an example of the things I work on. So today I am working on two high-profile projects at the same time. So I started off with one that they had a limited scope and they had to get something done in a very short time. And we were able to get that done for them within 4 sprints. So in the world of work, as a BA, we tend to work in Agile. Lots of us work in Agile. Some people work in Waterfall. But a lot of companies are going Agile. So in Agile Scrum, we work in time blocks of 2 weeks at a time, right? So every 2 weeks, they try to deliver something. So we have this long list of features that we want to deliver. And then every 2 weeks, we cut off a chunk of it, get it done. And then that's how we deliver. So to deliver something of real value in just 4 sprints, which is 8 weeks, is a lot. And we were able to do that. But in order to get that done as the BA, I had to sacrifice. So it was sometimes weekend work, sometimes it was working late at night, sometimes it was, people sending emails at 1:00 in the morning, that is AM. People having long meetings and just burning you out on both ends. But we all did it. And the good thing about where I was working at the time is that everybody was pulling their weight. There was nobody that was loafing around and idling when other people doing the job, right? So we got it done, but it was a lot of burnout. You felt stressed when you were done. When I was done, I took a vacation. I was like, you know what? I need a break. I need a break right now. So that's what happens when you're a high performer. You end up doing a lot. And if you like to deliver high quality stuff, then you're just, because your name is on it, you're like, I got to get it done well because I don't want anybody to say I didn't do a good job. But the bad side of it is that you work too hard and you end up delivering so well that you have what they call performance punishment. Performance punishment is a real thing. It means that you're so good that you end up, they want to give you the work. So if you have something to do, you don't give it to a person with their hands empty. You give it to a busy person, because a busy person is going to get it done. So what happens sometimes, the high performers, is that they end up doing more work. So you end up feeling like, okay, what is everybody else doing? Like, share the love. But they don't trust other people, because they know they've given it to you before and you got it done. So they want you to do it, because they know if they give it to you, it's gonna get done. But then what happens to you? You get burnt out, and that was what was happening to me. So we got this thing done within 4 sprints, and it was a monumentous achievement. I mean, imagine a dream team came together and just like killed it. The SA means software architect. Software architect was phenomenal. I was on the project. We had exceptional developers. They were all in India, but they were just really good. You know what I mean? We didn't have to like hold their hand, tell them anything. They just knew what they needed to do. Once I gave them the direction, boom, they took it off. And the good thing was, they were working India time. So when we're awake, they're asleep. When we're asleep, they're awake. So it felt like the project just kept going 24 hours. Somebody was up at some time of the day to keep working, right? So we did that project. It was great. Had a great launch, very successful. Everything was wonderful. But the burnout, oh my God, the burnout was real. Burnout was real. My daughter was like, she spent a lot of time by herself. Sometimes I would go downstairs and poor kid made her own dinner. She's only, 9 now. She was 8, going on 9 at the time. And she was making her own dinner, cooking her own food, And it was rough. I had family over and they would try to help me out and stuff like that. But it was rough to manage that level of pressure to get something done. And then we did such a great job that the client came back a year later and they had another project, which was even more money. So who do you think they pulled to do that project? Me. So now you've set this bar so high that you have to keep delivering at that level. But you can do a big effort for a short period of time, 8 weeks and 4 sprints, okay. But now you have a bigger project, which even more things, and they kind of expect the same level of intensity, right? So at some point you have to be like, yeah, got to stop the burnout. So that's one thing. The burnout for people who are high performers is real. It's heavy, and you have to protect your mental health, and you have to protect your own. At the end of the day, this is a job. I know I teach you guys how to do well in this role, but it's a job. And the truth is, you're working for the man. And everybody should have their exit strategy. Everybody should have their plan. So you get in, you need to make this money, you need to pay your bills, you need to, take care of your family. Maybe you just migrated, you came in from another country, and you need to get your footing, get your own place, get your life together, send money back home to your family, whatever, right? You got to do that. But your end goal, I would encourage everybody to have their end goal is to stop working for the man. Your end goal should be having your own business, having your own time, spend time with your family. Don't have to be asking permission to go on a vacation. Just go, because your business can run without you, right? So that's the end goal, and there is enough market for everybody. Nobody has to feel like, oh my God, it's saturated. It's not saturated. It's not saturated. You can have your own business in anything right now. If there are 8 billion people on the planet, there could be 8 billion businesses on the planet. Because if I own a business, I'm also a consumer. So it's never saturated. So everybody needs to have their own side hustle. I was talking to someone in a meeting. We were talking about resources because I needed to find resources for a project I'm working on. And the lady was saying to me, in the background, she had a blackboard with some interesting drawing. And I was like, what's that in your background, Carrie? And she says, oh, on a Saturday, I sell macaroons. I sell macaroons at the market. And this is the layout for the tent that I'm going to put up. Oh, you hear me? And she is a highly professional. She helps us find resources, software architects and business analysts and developers. She's not she's not strapped for cash. She definitely has. I mean, I don't know her business, but like she's in a high paying job is what I'm trying to say. And she's selling her macaroons in the market. Yeah. So a side hustle is the thing. Everybody needs to have their own side hustle. And sometimes their side hustle gives you more joy even than your career. I know people who do artistic stuff. I have a friend who does on the side, she does decorations for like weddings. And if you see how she lights up when she has to like plan a wedding, it's like they're doing her a favor. It's like she really enjoys it, and her productions are so beautiful. Her bouquets, her flowers, her stuff, and she links up with people who do cake and stuff, so she can give them a full package for their wedding. And she's a highly professional woman who has a corporate day job, but she likes to do her wedding planning. That's great. So I'm just saying, these are some of the ways that you can avoid being burned out too. When you have like a side hustle or you have some kind of thing that keeps you occupied, that's like can maybe give you additional money, but also helps you to just feel to just take some of the work pressure off. For those of you who are not into parties and clubbing and stuff like that, like you guys know, I like to go to the mountains. I like wine tasting. I like to do more classy stuff. So I find time to do that. All right, let me not waste y'all time anymore. Let me give you some concrete examples of how I have handled burnout, and then I'm going to jump straight into the case study. So, and the reason I'm talking about this is because I got a call. You guys know that I do the consults, right? So you can book like a free 15-minute call with me. So sometimes people call me, and that's just some of the things they're telling me. They're like, Carly, I just need some help with the burnout as a BA. Like, how are you handling it? What do you do? So I thought, hey, that might be a good topic to raise. Somebody called me yesterday, and his thing was that he just got a job as a business analyst, and he got actually he got hired as a scrum master. Actually, I take it back. He said he got hired as a scrum master, and he got the job. He was very excited about it, and he's still in his onboarding. And after the onboarding, they told him that they have this project and they need him to run it, but he's not going to be running it as a scrum master. They'll ask him to run it as a business analyst. And he was freaking out. He's like, I'm not a trained business analyst. Why did they hire me for one role and then switch around and just give me a different role? So he felt very much pressure and stress just trying to figure that out. And so people are going through all kinds of different things in the role. All right, here's what I do when I have high levels of stress. I try to make sure that I block out time for like my lunch. So I try to have a lunch time that's blocked out. Because what happens is, if you look at my calendar, I have meetings happening all different hours of the day. Like I start at 8 and I have 8 o'clock to 8:30 scrum. Then I have a 9 o'clock to 9:30 scrum, and I have a 10 o'clock meeting. That's a recurring meeting that happens every month, every day at 10. Then we have just meetings going on and on and on. And at the end of the meetings, because I'm a BA, I have to write requirements. So I'm like, dude, if you meet with me all day, how am I going to give you what you want? Right? How am I going to write requirements? Like, I can't think and focus in 15-minute increments. Like, if you only give me 15 minutes between meetings, it's not enough. Can't help me. I need to not be in all of these meetings. Like, stop trying to meet with me all the time. But they need to meet with you because that's just a part of the role. So what I do is I block out time for my lunch, and I put it as focus time, and I say, do not overbook. Because people just say, oh, it's just lunch, so I can book a meeting over it. You can be really free. And then they book it, and then they message me, Carly, I know you have it set over your lunchtime, but can you give me like 5 minutes to talk about something? And if you ever say yes, that 5 minutes turns into a whole half hour, 1 hour discussion. And then because I work from home, it's like, there goes my lunch. You just ate up my lunchtime. So one of the ways that you can try to manage the burnout is to give yourself a break during the day, right? So if you work from home, go outside, soak up the sun, look at the sun. It's good practice to stand barefoot outside because we're on our phones all day. and all of this, 5G and all these things going through our bodies, the earth, you can ground yourself on the earth. So just standing on the earth, getting good sunshine, barefoot on the earth, and ground yourself. I used to be in China one time, and we used to do Tai Chi. So in the mornings, before my 8 o'clock call, I'm outside in my lawn doing my Tai Chi. Yeah, doing my Tai Chi. Calms me, relaxes me, gets me ready for the day. So do whatever you can do that you can find to give yourself a little bit of pause, get yourself ready for the day. That's a great way to avoid some of the burnout that you will face as you go through the day. That's one. The other thing I do too is I propose to my team that there's a no meeting day. So we pick one day that's our productivity day. And that's a day when we don't want to have any meetings. So any client meetings, we try to push them off from that day, and we tell our clients, hey, this is the day that we need to internally discuss things and recoup and plan some of the stuff for the next coming week. In our case, we try to use Friday as our no meeting day so that we can have better balance and people can have time to focus. So we've implemented that. That's working out very well. In some places, some companies like government agencies, some companies have a big standard for well-being for the employees so that they force you to take lunch. Like you can't keep working the whole day. They force you to take lunch. Sometimes they have like wellness activities for the employees, but some companies don't. I work in consulting. It's burnout work. It's a burnout world. If you think of the big six consultants, you notice that they tend to have young people working with them because they plan to just burn you out, right? And so the young people who don't have families, who don't have husbands, who don't have kids, they can just work all day, all night. So that's why consulting companies are notorious for hiring a lot of young people because that's what they're trying to get away with, and they burn them out. And then, they just have an next batch ready to come. And, they can even pay them a little bit less and get the best of their youth because everybody wants to put on their resume that they work for Ernst & Young and they work for Deloitte and they work for PwC and all of these bigger companies. So they'll, really try their best to give a good impression and work themselves to the bone. So in the private sector, working at this rate is very common, but not maybe in the government agencies, not as much. I used to work in an organization in Jamaica before I migrated here. And Jamaica, if anybody has ever been to Jamaica, it's a party island, right? It's a party island. It's an island where you go to have fun. When you see those videos online, they are not joking. They're not joking. We're always dancing in the street. There's reggae music everywhere. We have the great jerk chicken. We have curry chicken. I mean, you're just going to enjoy yourself. And if you're a person of color, when you land in Jamaica, you feel like you're home. All right? The men will always be giving you compliments. The women, not so much for guys, because women don't do that. But it's a great place to have fun. It's a very vibesy place. And even in the corporate world, it's vibesy too. So when I used to work in Jamaica, we had this company, we had a big courtyard outside and we had like a waterfall and decor in the courtyard area. And my company used to have entertainers come to entertain the staff for different things. Like, for example, on Valentine's Day, we had Beanie Man, we had all of these great artists in Jamaica would come and sing serenade and give a show and all that stuff. You could invite your family, your spouse, your kids, your friends. Everybody came to the courtyard and drank, and we have beer and all kinds of stuff, all kinds of food catering for the friends of the staff. And that's how we would get down. We would just like enjoy ourselves. And in another company, we had steaks in the hotels. And so our Christmas party was just picking a hotel on the North Coast and just go there. We spend the whole weekend as a company and we partied, we drink, we talk about different stuff. It was fun. It was fun. So these are some of the things that we did to not have burnout. We worked hard, but then the company helped us to not have burnout, right? So I have never experienced that in the US since I migrated here. No company has ever done that. we only have Christmas party and it's kind of fake and kind of stiff. maybe we do some karaoke. That's it. We're not going on trips together or anything like that. It's not gonna happen. But yeah, so I block my calendar. I try to implement a no meeting day, and then because of the meetings between meetings, like for example, if I have one whole day with all meetings and it's like 50 minutes in between as break, I um, I ask them to not have like multiple meetings about different things as much as possible. Keep it together. For example, if I'm talking about this particular feature, let me talk about that in the meetings because they tend to switch context and then your brain is like, okay, what are we talking about now? And I need to remember all the requirements I wrote about this. And the context switching is a lot. So unless you have a job as a PA, you don't know what I'm talking about, but this is the world you're going to face. All right. So those are the things I do. I hope some of these things were helpful for you. If anybody here is facing any burnout, just take it easy. Find ways to incorporate breaks in your day. Try to set up that no meeting day if it's possible with your team. And remember, you're just working for the man. So the man don't care about you. Unfortunately, if you drop off that job today, tomorrow they replace you. I promise you, nothing you're working on is important. Nothing you're working on is that important, right? So that's what. All right, let me see if I can switch to, I don't know if I can present on this tool. Like I told you, I'm using this new tool that I've never used before. So I'm trying to figure out how to make it work. What I want to talk about next is I want to talk about my insightful workshop coming up, and I want to talk about how to elicit requirements on projects. So I'm going to share my screen with just a couple of the slides I have planning to present on Sunday the 19th. And if you guys want to find out more about this, you can go to carolise.com and there'll be a pop-up and you can see a page that details more of what we'll talk about in that workshop. So I'm going to try to present. I have no idea if that's going to work. But I'm going to try. Let's see. Okay, here we go. I hope you guys can see my screen. I can't see the chat or anything, so I have no idea. Oh, there we go. I can see the chat. There you go. Some people put some chat in there. Yeah, so you guys should be able to see my screen. So this is one of the slides that I'll be presenting on when we do our consult. And we're going to be talking in this workshop, we're going to talk about 3 real world projects. So what I've been doing these workshops for a bit, and what I've found out is you guys want practical experience. Like you guys want details. You guys have already spent money in your courses. A lot of you have done a lot of courses. You've done capstone projects, but for whatever reason, when you walk away, you just feel like you don't know anything. So people are like, I need more. Like, I don't feel confident. And I'm like, what can I do to help you to feel confident? Like, you've spent thousands of dollars on your courses. You've been watching my videos. You've been probably practicing. So why you still feel like you don't know how to do the job? And what they say to me is because when we do the projects, it's in a group and sometimes they split the group and one set of group pretend to be the customer and one set pretend to be the business. So it's not real. And so we know it's not real. It's just the best example we can get outside of having a job. But we don't feel like we've covered enough ground to really be able to do it in the real world. That's what y'all are telling me. That's what I understood. So I'm like, okay, how do I help you? And I'll tell you the truth. This has been a topic I have been shying away from for a long time. And, Kyle is here. Kyle. Hi, Kyle. Kyle is one of my oldest, longest follower. Kyle has been to almost all of my live events. I'm so happy to have him here today. And one time, I think in one of my lives, somebody said, Carolise, can you teach us how to elicit requirements? It's so hard for us. And I was like, yeah, I'll do it. But it's not a topic that's easy to teach. And this is the reason why in your courses, they don't teach you. Because how are they going to teach you? The people who are teaching you are not working in the field. Most of them are teaching. This is the job. Or they work in something else and they're exposed to business analysts and they teach you. What they can teach you are the techniques, right? What they can teach you is how to pass the CBAP or the ECBA or some certification. They can teach you that. They cannot teach you how to do the job in the real world because they're not in the real world doing the job themselves. So what happens is that you're at a disadvantage. You're at a disadvantage in the courses because you don't know that you don't know. It's the unknown unknown. You don't know that you don't know, and that's just the point of it. And this is how I felt when I left college too, where I went to college, I did lots of studies, I passed all these things, I was top of my class, and then I came out as like, now what? Okay. You just feel like you have all these accolades, but it doesn't mean anything. And that's why if you follow me on LinkedIn, which you should, go to Carly's. I'm going to put my LinkedIn in here so anybody want to follow me can follow me. But when I go to, in my LinkedIn, I don't even put any of my accolades. I don't put my accolades because I'm like, you know what, it doesn't mean anything. I have all these papers, all these things. And when I left college, I felt like a fish out of water. I didn't know how to do any of it because the school system is not preparing you to be a professional who's able to do the job. The school system is preparing you to pass exams. And unfortunately, in the real world, they don't care about your exam. They have a problem right now, and they don't know how to solve it. And they need you right now to solve it. And they hire for the role. And when they hire for the role, they get people who have enormously wonderful resumes because y'all are very good at inventing resumes, right? Y'all make up everything. I don't think anybody right now, not say anybody, I don't think a lot of people are being truthful on their resume because the job market is so rough that people are just like, you know what, I don't have time. I'm just gonna, you want experience? I'll give you experience. What you want again? Anything you want, I'll give you because I need this job, I need this money. I'm gonna lie, I'm gonna lie, I'm gonna lie, and that's what they'll do. So when people get the job, they're freaking out because they're like, I haven't been taught how to do the job, and two, I have lied and I've gotten the job, and now I actually have to deliver, and I didn't think that far ahead. Most people are not thinking; they're thinking about, I have bills to pay right now, man. I have bills to pay right now, and I need the job to pay my bills, and so they solve one problem at a time. Good thing for you is that you've got me, and I actually know what I'm talking about. I am the world #1 business analyst for a reason. So I'm going to help you in this very difficult task of figuring out how to elicit requirements. So the way I'm going to teach you in our live workshop coming up on May 19th is I'm going to actually let you feel it. I'm going to let you feel how it would be to be a BA. I'm going to let you feel how it would be to be presented with the kinds of problems that you are going to be presented with as a BA. And I'm going to let you feel that shock and get used to the shock. And we're going to work through together how to get through small increments by small increments until you end up with the requirements. But you have to feel that shock first because that's what you're going to feel in the real world. And then you're going to get used to it and realize, okay, I'm not going to freak out. I'm just going to take this step and then this step and then this step. And then I'm going to be able to come up with these requirements. I'm going to be able to deliver them. You're going to be able to articulate them. You're going to be able to ask good questions. You're going to be able to be client facing. A lot of people are afraid to talk to clients, and people are very careful who they let talk to clients. So in the real world, if you're a BA and you have project managers that you're working with or product owners, they want to be in every client meeting because they want to hear what you're telling the clients. And they don't trust you to say anything to the client because they don't want you to commit to anything that they can't deliver and, all of that stuff. So we're going to learn how to build that confidence. We're going to learn how to even help your managers to start relaxing because you've got it, right? So once you can prove to them that you can deliver requirements, then after that they'll start trusting you and then they'll give you more leeway, right? So I'm going to put in the chat where you can find more details about my upcoming Insightful workshop, and you can click on there to see. So we're going to talk about these projects. So the first project we're going to talk about, well, actually, let me go to this slide. Let's do a slideshow. Okay, so we're going to handle 3 projects in our live workshop. I don't know, I tried to post the link and it said there was an error. Who knows? Let me try again. Hold on, guys. I don't have my assistant Joshua with me. It's too late in his time zone. Oh yeah, it looks like it posted now. Yay. All right. So we're going to do these 3 projects, and it's going to be a software build. So what happens if you get a job and the first project they give you is you're building a whole new software? So it could be new sub feature of the software, or the software itself is new. Both have the same kind of elicitation techniques that we use. Or it could be where you already have something that's working, but they need to change a button or add a table or create a report or allow some kind of export. There's some feature that they want to enhance the existing system with. So how do you elicit requirements when you're not building an entirely new system, but you're just trying to incorporate something new into an existing system? The ways that you elicit those kind of requirements are different, and the way that you ask questions around that is a little bit different also, because you have to make sure the new thing you're building incorporates itself well with whatever you had before. So that's the other thing. The third one that we're going to be talking about in the Insightful workshop is the implementation projects. These are configurations, like how do I configure this system to meet my needs? So we don't need to build anything. We don't need to change anything. We're just buying something that already exists, and we're putting it with our existing system. So in this case, think of, for example, we're going to implement Salesforce. We're going to use Salesforce to manage our pipeline. We're going to use Salesforce to manage our clients, our campaigns. We're going to use Salesforce for everything, and we're just going to embed what we already have into Salesforce and make that become our system of record. So you don't need to build anything. Salesforce comes with everything, for example, right? What would you do? How would you elicit requirements for that kind of project where you're just configuring stuff and changing stuff and just admin settings that you're changing? How do you create the data mapping that you need for things like that, right? So these are the 3 types of projects, if you're a functional PA, that you'll be exposed to. And that's the reason why I'm working from this angle. So what I want to do is, in that Insightful session, I want to take each of these 3 and we're going to work on them together. We're going to see how we're going to have a problem for each of these 3, and we're going to use that to solve, for you to learn how to elicit requirements. Go to the next slide. So one of the first projects I want to share with you that we're going to work through will be with this tool. So in this example, we're building a whole new software. The software, in a sense, kind of already exists, but the feature we're building is completely brand new, and it's a full-fledged end-to-end feature that we're going to build. We're not just adding a button or adding a little table over here. We're doing a whole end-to-end feature, fleshing that out, right? So that's what we're going to be talking about in Insightful. So this is the first one, and this is Zap Here, right? So it says that Zap Here is a company that provides integrations for web applications for use in automated workflows. So what Zap Here does is, it's an API, really. It allows you to connect different systems together without having to build out the API yourself. So API is application programming interface. It's a way that we connect. If you're going to be a BA, you got to have to learn the terms, okay? You don't be freaking out when people start talking about API, because you need to know what it is. You do not need to know how to build it. You're not a programmer, but you must know what they're talking about. I have a video that says these are the common terms that we use in the BA world. Go watch the video so that when people start talking these jargons, you know what they're saying. You don't freak out about it. So this is one of the problems that we're going to be solving. Zap Here, and this is a real problem. In your capstone projects, when you do your courses, a lot of times they give you some hypothetical problem that they made up. We're not doing that. We're looking at a real problem for a real system that we really have to solve. Okay. So Zapier is a company that provides integrations for web applications. So if it's a web app, whether it's MailChimp, whether it's Salesforce, whether it's Stripe, whether it's PayPal, whether it's whatever, even your socials, you can create an API, we call it as like a Zap, that allows two of these systems that don't talk to each other to have a connection, because most of the systems today have an open API that anybody else can integrate with. So Zapier provides a service to allow anybody, even you, to connect one system to the next using some front end clickable, click through wizards, and that's it. It's doing the work for you in the back end. Okay. So Zapier currently is valued at $5 billion. It's a very well successful company, and integrations in over 6,000 different applications. Zapier has over 2.2 million customers. So you can look at this, the scale of the company that we're going to be helping to solve this problem for. Zapier is very focused on providing high quality integrations to as many apps as users need to automate their processes. In a recent survey, there's a typo there, we'll fix that later. In a recent survey, customers have indicated they need an integration with payment processor Stripe and MailChimp, a campaign management software, so that they can email their customers when payments are processed or refunds are made. So what we're saying here is, of all the 6,000 apps that Zapier integrates with, they have identified that they need to integrate with another app called MailChimp. MailChimp, which is a real app, helps customers to manage their campaigns. So people have email addresses, they want to send out emails and email marketing. They use MailChimp. It's one of the popular tools for that. And Stripe is a popular tool for receiving payment. I myself use Stripe. So when you register for Insightful, you're going through my Stripe page. So the demand here is that they want to integrate Stripe. So whenever somebody makes a payment through Stripe, they want it to send an email through the email campaign MailChimp, and they want to have that integration done. So the requirement that they gave you is that you need to build an integration between Stripe and MailChimp, and you need to create an easy-to-use interface to help non-technical users set up their integration and allow the most relevant functionality for MVP1. MVP means most valuable product, or which is the least amount of things we can do to get to market. That's the problem. Now imagine that you have been hired to work at Zapier, and this is the project that they gave you, and they've only told you this. They haven't told you anything else. You just land there. They say, well, thank you for coming. We're so happy that you're part of the team. We're looking forward to working with you. We have a new project for you. We're going to build this integration between Stripe and MailChimp, and you're going to be the BA. That's it. That's all you get. Right? So we're going to work through, how would you do this job? Right? How would you know what to do? You're new. You don't know anybody. You don't know anything about Zapier. You don't know anything about MailChimp, but yet still they're asking for requirements. What would you do? How would you go about it? Who would you talk to? What questions would you ask them? And how would you be able to help the project team to get to a place where they know how to do this integration and be able to communicate that to the technical team for them to know what to write? Now, you're not an expert in APIs either. You don't know anything about APIs? What do you know? Nothing. I don't know nothing either, so I'm not saying it because I know. I don't know anything about APIs. I know what it is. I can't write a line of code. Right? I mean, back in the day I could, but I don't anymore. It's been too long. And I used to write code in a thing called C++, which has been outdated for a while. So these are the kinds of problems you're really going to be faced with in the real world. The capstone projects that you're getting with all of the answers already, it's not going to work, because in the real world, you don't have the answers. You don't even have the problem. So this is the kind of thing we're going to talk about. We're going to explore what to do when you're faced with a problem like this, and where do you start? What questions do you ask? Who do you ask it to? And how do you work all the way through to get to actual requirements that you can then deliver to the team and say, these are the requirements that you need to work through. especially for something as kind of complicated as an integration between two tools that you have no idea about. Right? So I think it's going to be fun. I'm looking forward to working with you guys on that. I work on these kind of projects every single day. And, after a while it becomes second nature, but I can see where you're new, you're like intimidated by these kind of things, right? So that's what we're going to talk about. So I look forward to you guys joining Insightful, working through these kind of projects. If you guys have any, let me see if anybody's saying anything in the comments. If you guys have any comments that you want to leave on that, let me know. If you guys want me to share any details about this particular project, I mean, we're going to talk about it in detail for those of you who are. When are you doing it? Oh, I'm doing it on the 19th of May. It's a Sunday. I'm in Eastern time, so it's going to be Sunday the 19th at 12 p.m. Eastern time. What we do is we just join a meeting like this, but it's interactive. So you get to ask questions, you get to clarify. I get to answer your questions live. And so that's how we do it for these Insightful. We're having Insightful once every month because I have a ton of case studies that I want to share with you guys. And sometimes I don't even know which one to do, right? Because right now I have around 24 just queued up. So last time we had an Insightful, somebody said, Carlos, I want to learn how to do elicit requirements. And I went, fine, I'll make that the next one. So I don't always know ahead of time which is going to be the next one. And you guys just have to just tell me, hey, this is what I want to learn. And then I'll put something together and teach that. Because I always want to give you what you need. It doesn't make sense for me to teach you what I want to teach you because I already know the stuff. I want to know, what do you want to learn? Right? What do you want to learn that you're not learning in your classes, in your courses? You're not learning in whatever boot camp or whatever you're doing. What are you still struggling with? I want you guys to be comfortable doing the projects. Let me give you another reason. Most of the time, in these high profile meeting rooms, sometimes I'm the only Black woman in there. And even most of the time, the only Black woman, the only Black person. If I'm lucky, there'll be a Black man somewhere. But sometimes I'm the only Black person in the room. And not like I feel lonely or anything, I don't mind. But I'm like, what are my people doing? Right? We're not nowhere in here. What are we doing? We're on TikTok dancing. That's what we're doing. While over here it's a bunch of money thrown away because some people in the road don't know what the hell they're doing, and we're on TikTok dancing. Let's get it together, guys. Let's get it together. It doesn't have to be a BA role. It could be something else, project management, whatever. But let's get in the corporate world and start making some waves. We have a lot of people who are in, project management, a lot of people who are in other leadership roles, but in the BA space, it's just empty. Kind of empty over here. Because a lot of analysis required, a lot of thinking required, and we can think, but sometimes we just want to think about music. We want to think about dancing. We want to think about entertainment. We're all over entertainment. I cannot find another Black person to pull with me. Come, let me show you. You know what I mean? Come on, learn the thing, get out there, make the money, and do your thing. Yeah, I believe as you get to be more and more of a mature person, you have to teach the way. Part of I believe, the cycle of life is you gain stuff, you got to give out some of it, and you gain more, and you give out some. If your cup is always full, you don't have any space to get more stuff. So if my cup is too full, I got to get rid of some of it so I can make space for new stuff. So I got to give out some of the knowledge. You know what I mean? Give out some of the knowledge, bring other people up to speed, and they can take over. There's no point in gatekeeping. So a lot of people are very skilled at what they do, but they don't create a platform to share it, or they just like, it's work. I want to be done with work. Nobody loves their job that bad. I love what I do, but most people like, it's just work. Let me go enjoy life now. Like it's something they do just because they get paid. They don't really after work hours you don't want to talk about it, and I completely get it. I just talked about burnout, right? So I know what I'm talking about. But at the same time, I feel like it's incumbent on anyone with some level of experience to share it, to help the next generation, to build up your community somehow. And it doesn't matter what you know. It just so happened that what I know is business analysis, but somebody else might know something very good about gardening, making macaroons, whatever. Why you don't share your knowledge? You know stuff that people want to know. Yeah, you got to give it out so you can make space for new things, new knowledge coming in. So that's what I'm trying to do. And I'm doing it. Obviously, you pay to come to the class because it's not free. Everything takes effort. And to be able to, allow you to make payments online, all that stuff takes effort. But the real truth is, I want to impart my knowledge and I want to let it out so other people can benefit from it. And maybe in a world where you go to one of those meetings and there's a bunch of us in there just running the place. That's what I would like to see for my community. And I think it's a noble gesture. And I think I should keep doing it. So as soon as you guys can give me any indication as to what are the topics that you want to see. And you have on my website, if you go to carlys.com, I have a mailing list. You can join the mailing list. You'll receive some of the emails I send out. I don't spam people. I only send you email when there's like an event. So don't worry about that. And if you want to send me, hey, I want to learn about this topic, I can create that as an insightful and I could, you can join. Speaking of which, for you guys who have joined this live, I'm giving you a special code for if you sign up for Insightful. It will be a code to take 25% off. So just a thank you for joining this live. Let me put it in the chat. Yes, so if you use that code that I put in the chat, you will get 25% live, and that's a thank you for joining this live. I don't go live often. I'm going to try to do more lives. So tell me again, what do you guys want me to teach you? What do you want to learn on the lives? What you want me to do in the workshops? I'll do that. I'll read what Bob says. Bob says, thanks. Hey, Carlys, just want to say a big thank you for your channel. I've been learning from you, and I just wanted I just started my first month in a business analyst role. What? Just transitioned from a sales career. What? Listen, we just had our Global BA stand-up. And as a part of our Global BA stand-up, we like to celebrate people who get their new job. So, Bill, because you just got your new job, I have the gong for you. Congratulations, Bill. Sorry, I hope it didn't hurt your ears too much. But yes, congratulations for you for being able to start your job. So I'm very happy to hear that news. That's awesome. Thank you, guys. All right, so we've come to the end of our live. Thank you so much. I'm happy to end on that wonderful note from Bill. And look out for more lives from me. I'll try to put it on my events calendar. But yeah, I look forward to seeing you guys in Insightful. In the next 2 live, I'll talk about the next 2 projects that we'll discuss, the enhancement project and the configuration project. And we'll talk a little bit more about some of the techniques. If you want to learn like just high level how to, like what are some of the things that you need to check out for eliciting requirements, if you go to carlys.com and you go to templates, I have some free cheat sheets. If you haven't downloaded it yet, you can get the requirements cheat sheet for free. A lot of my stuff is for free, right? So you can go there and you can download it and you can see some of the questions that are common for you to know for eliciting requirements. But we'll get into the nitty-gritty on May 19th, 2024, when we go through this live workshop about all the techniques for eliciting requirements. So I look forward to seeing you there, and use that code to get 25% off when you purchase. All right. Thank you, guys. I appreciate you guys so much. Thank you. Bye-bye. Bye, everybody.